for the love of pets. The hounds of youth. As a child, we had many pets. My mother preferred dogs, but we also had cats as strays would appear and thusly she would adopt them. We had 3 mutt dogs of the same look and size over time. They were all named Frisky. Yes, they were the 3 Friskies, mid-sized gray mutts, medium straight hair with pointed ears and elongated snout. A mix of hound ancestry. Within a year and a half, we had 3 dogs of similar look that we had adopted and had all died, all named Frisky. Each was replaced and called Frisky to protect child innocence, but that was weird with so many other wacky non-protections for child innocence. We had a scary cat also once when I was a toddler. The cat was named Sparky. It had 1 eye, was mostly deaf, and it had a hatred of all things around her. She had an apparent deep fear in every waking moment. We theorized that she had a terrible life before being adopted by us, but it made her not a very child-friendly pet. For as long as I could remember, Sparky stayed under a bathroom sink cabinet and hissed and hid from every single person that would dare enter or approach her in the bathroom. It was abandon all hope, ye who poop here. She must have hissed at every person who would consider entering the bathroom. One day, Sparky died apparently. She was just gone. It was sadly a nicer and easier place to live without Sparky's demonic cat hissing hatred. But I wondered why no one ever confessed what actually happened to Sparky the cat. Later, we had adopted a dog, and we named her Lady, after the movie Lady and the Tramp, because all of us kids really liked that movie. Lady was a long-haired little black mutt with beagle-like floppy, fuzzy ears. She was a cute kind of dog. Lady gave birth to a litter of puppies. One such puppy I named Lassie, named after another movie dog, though she looked nothing at all like the TV star. Lady's puppies were born in my bed while I slept, born at my feet. I awoke to her giving birth. I can only surmise that Lady felt I was the safest and most secure place in the world that she could find, so that she could bring and give birth to her vulnerable children. And for her newborn's protection. Of course, it was messy, but it was miraculous. And I had never seen birth before, much less at my feet. Lady became quite the family pet, reliable, and therefore anyone that was willing to spend time with her. And otherwise, she was quiet and waiting for attention. I felt sorry for Lady, as she never seemed to get enough love from the family that she loved so much. But I suppose that is the fate of many animals and pets. Our pets get a home, food, an occasional care and love. Maybe they are dragged to a terrible place called a veterinarian that might help them out, but only if it is severe and the animal, its parents, feel sorry for it. For otherwise, it will suffer alone at home. Ultimately, the worst action someone can do is preserve the life of a suffering animal to their very last and horrible day. Lady was that story. Lady was rewarded for being loving and caring as a great pet through the end of her very life by becoming blind and scared of the very shadows that she could barely see in her life, worried that other animals might hurt her or worse, stumble outside and never find her way back. Lady was lost. Worse, one day Lady must have suffered a stroke and her left legs no longer worked properly, and so she would drag herself along walls with her only working legs to get about. My parents believed and espoused that any life was better than death, and so Lady struggled, and she suffered. Lady's heart became so weak as well that it would sometimes just give out. It had escalated to every few days her heart would seize. And I would somehow be there. I would witness it, and I would rush to her aid, administer CPR with little chest compressions, and miracles each time Lady would return to life. Unfortunately, one time it did not work. Lady never breathed again. Although I felt she died in my hands, I felt she was finally at peace. When I was a tween, we adopted another dog. It too was a mixed breed mutt. The dog we named Kelly was a mid-sized, short-haired black and white hound that unfortunately suffered epilepsy. We did not have her long, because on one stormy day she went outside and did not return. We always cared for Kelly, and we made sure she got through her seizures as best that we could, but it was always scary. This time, her jaunt outside in the rain was fated to kill her. She suffered a grand mal seizure, and her snout went below the water in a small puddle. She drowned during her epileptic seizure. We found her lifeless body in a pool of water. Kelly's good nature and demeanor was not enough to overcome brain malfunctions. It was Kelly's seemingly unavoidable fate. I cared deeply for Kelly. Losing her was very sad. I had so few friends or true good pets. Indeed, I had few friends and very truly good pets. And Kelly died alone for absolutely no reason at all. I learned then that life is not kind. Life is not fair. The Lord giveth, and the Lord taketh away, even if it takes love from you and hurts you. Another dear pet of mine was a rabbit named Bigfoot. Yes, his hind feet were huge. Bigfoot was a huge, red-eyed, hateful rabbit that I had saved from a ranch that wanted to trap and kill him as a feral rabbit that was on their property. I declared his name was Bigfoot because his hind legs were so unusually large, long, huge. Bigfoot had escaped the rancher's custody as a baby and was never recaptured, becoming quite an expert at human evasion and ranch food acquisition. Despite his expert evasion skills, I somehow managed to corner and catch the rabbit. He was so big compared to me that he spanned my entire child's chest. But Bigfoot had different ideas, and he did not want to be held, much less captured. He had known freedom all of his life, ever escaping as a baby from captivity. And so, Bigfoot bit my shoulder as I held him, intending to force me to release him out of my pain. But he did not release his bite. He wiggled and swung from my flesh by his teeth, but I, unwavering in my mission to hold and save this bunny, did not let go. The rabbit gave up himself eventually, and he released his jaws from my shoulder. The ranchers gave Bigfoot to us, to me, after that, saying that if I wanted a rabbit bad enough to hold it while it bit me, that I earned it. They encouraged us to please take it. I kept Bigfoot for years as a pet, but he was always mean and hateful. He wanted to be free, but the world would just eat him alive without protection. And so I cared for the mean little red-eyed, razor-toothed Vorpal bunny. Yes, as Monty Python and the Holy Grail movie skits, wicked Vorpal bunny. One day, when Bigfoot was older and frail, but still hateful and driven still to be free, I took him out to a wilderness hillside, where there was a creek and a natural food aplenty. I hoped that he would live out his last years feral and free. I set Bigfoot free, out of his carrier cage, to see if he would go. And go he did. He dashed swiftly, never to be seen again. No pause, no wistful looking at me. He just dashed. He was gone. But he was free. As I was walking back, I found an old butcher's knife near where I had set him free. My mother speculated the knife may have been used in a crime long past, but since that was then and this is now, and we could use a knife, she would polish it up and keep it as our own. My parents hoped to have yet another dog after Kelly had died from epilepsy, and so we adopted a red Irish setter, simply an unoriginally named dog called Red. Red was super energetic and very fun, but too much for my parents to handle. She chewed up shoes, she jumped on beds and couches, she knocked things over, she was rambunctious and borderline feral without taking directions. Of course, she was never trained. I liked the dog a lot. It would play ball with me, we could play tag together, it would let me sort of ride it since it was so big and I was so small. Red was a huge, great dog, even if it was a bit wild. She was nothing but happy. But a few months after we acquired the red Irish setter, she just vanished. Rather than train the dog or seek to calm it, my parents just gave it away without warning or discussion. I felt a great loss when Red just vanished. I felt like my mother and Sam, my stepfather, did not care what I thought or how losing Red might hurt me.